In the last chapter, Houston, we have a problem. We learned about the fact that it's okay to make mistakes. The mistakes happen all the time. And in fact, sometimes good things come out of mistakes. Right now in the background, I'm playing a little OK Go. Here it goes again. And so today, what we're going to see is that mistakes sometimes, just sometimes, have some downsides. An example of that is last weekend I was playing in a pickleball tournament and I went after a ball in the tournament and I fell. And I didn't get hurt, fortunately, but here it goes again. And so that's what this song is talking about. Let's take a listen. Well, today, the Here It Goes Again, and what we're going to learn about in this chapter is this whole concept of trial and error. You got to try things to see if they work, or if you have to go back to the drawing board. Finally, one other theme in this chapter is this whole idea of secrets. Are you good at keeping a secret? When your friend tells you something, are you pretty good? Or do you let everybody know by blabbing? Well, my wife often lets me know, and other people, my friends too, that I have a tendency to be a talker. I know that probably is a shocker to you, but I will frequently say what the endings are to a movie or television show. That doesn't always go over so well. So here we go. Chapter number 11, Trial and Error. Eli made it his daily ritual to bug Grady for a specific time and date to launch Flycar. But as the days passed, Grady became more reluctant, or maybe realistic, about the prospects of Flycar actually getting off the ground. Come on, Grady. What were you telling me a few months ago about it being okay to fail? Just fail fast and fail forward, Eli pleaded. Yeah, but this is different. Our lives could be at stake here. Besides, what will your parents think? Grady countered. My parents are going out of town this weekend to testify in Washington, D.C. about the state of the big three automakers, Eli said. They tried to pawn me off to some high school babysitter, but I convinced them that you'd take better care of me, Eli smirked. I don't like the sound of this, Junior. Grady shook his head back and forth. I checked the meteorology reports, and the weather conditions are optimal for a test flight, Eli said. Well, the winds are coming at 5 miles an hour from the north, so Saturday morning is go time. He was sure about Flycar, even if Grady was not so sure. Grady finally relented. All right, tomorrow it is. Saturday morning came early. The cool spring air brought a chill to the skin and alertness to the senses. Grady had Eli retract Flycar's wings so it could comfortably fit through the barn's double doors. Early morning sunlight and blue skies kissed the barn door, and the smell of the old hay wafted through the open structure. The two hopeful inventors pushed the car carefully through the opening, much as a seasoned pit crew massages a NASCAR competitor back onto the racetrack. Eli knew that the vast lawn would provide more than enough space for an initial test flight. He and Grady threw on bike helmets before preparing for takeoff. Both pilot and passenger had so many unanswered questions racing through their minds. Would Flycar actually ascend into the sky? How high could it go? Would it be able to successfully land the craft? Eli and Grady agreed not to tempt fate during the maiden flight. 5 to 10 minutes max sounded about right. They also decided that Grady should be the one behind the wheel. He didn't have a pilot's license, but he was the proud owner of a driver's license for over 40 years with no accidents and or speeding violations. As they taxied Flycar down the middle of the manicured meadow, their hearts raced. Grady asked the boy one more time, Are you sure you're up for this, son? All he received in return was a single word of confirmation. Absolutely. Grady pulled up the emergency brake, pushed the gas pedal to the floor, and gripping the steering wheel lightly, as if it were the horn of a saddle on a mechanical bull. At the edge of the property stood a series of interlocking black gum trees, roughly 70 feet tall, that formulated a natural fence. Would Flycar have enough speed to clear the trees, given the takeoff angle of 15 degrees? An airplane takes off at an angle of 15 degrees. As the cherry red sports car barreled down the pathway, sweat started to form on Grady's furrowed brow. Furrowing is when you go like this. Come on, baby, clear, he whispered. 300 yards from the tree, Grady pulled up on the steering wheel. And Flycar started to ascend rapidly. It was gaining a steady altitude of 10 feet every second. Unfortunately, the black gum tree stood directly ahead. Flycar scraped the tops of the twisted tree branches with an ear-piercing screech and began to descend rapidly as the unforgiving trees punched massive holes in both aluminum wings. There was little time to think, and they had to quickly decide where to land the car. Grady decided to drop it into Old Man Murphy's pond. He cranked the steering wheel firmly to his left and banked it over towards Old Man Murphy's pond and the coffee-colored waters. Flycar slapped the surface of the overgrown pond. Psh! Water cascaded over the top like a tidal wave. Grady depressed the plexiglass window button, and both passenger and pilot made a successful 11-hour evacuation. The car quickly sank 15 feet down, glub, 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 coming to a rest on the bottom of the pond. Eli swam and Grady dog-paddled over to the muddy banks of the shore. Sopping wet but thankful to still be alive, the two inventors collapsed on a mossy knoll next to the nearby willow tree. They were spent from the stress of the crash and landing and sudden evacuation, but after a few minutes, Eli gathered his senses and piped up. "That was absolutely amazing!" he exclaimed. "We were actually flying. Can you believe it? In 1903, the Wright brothers' total flight time was roughly 12 seconds. We were airborne for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Incredible!" Catching his breath, Grady leaned up and stabilized himself with his arm. "Did I miss something here, or did we just total your dad's car?" "That's just a technicality," Eli replied. And so, Chapter 11, Trial and Error. Here is Flycar splashing down into Old Man Murphy's pond. What do you think they're going to do next? We'll find out in Chapter 12.